Good afternoon then, and welcome to Spottle and Rochdale for this second match of the season. Keighley, of course, travelled over the Pennines for this fixture. The Rochdale side currently out on the field. We await the arrival of the Cougars. The Rochdale side this afternoon, Stevenson full back, the three quarters, Martin Bunce, Martin Strett, Mike Stewart, Naaman Ratu. As the Cougars take the field, Wayne Reid, Chris Churm, Rob Hall, David Fell, Keith England, Tony Hilton, Steve Maudsley and Sean Whitehead in the forwards for Rochdale. Serge Logier and Martin Kay are the substitutes. The Keighley side there, you can see just coming onto the field, the fullback Andre Stoop. The three quarters, Neil Kenyon, Nick Pinkney, Dave Creaser and John Walker. The halfbacks, Andy Ayres and Chris Robinson, and the forwards, Steve Hall, who is the captain of the side, Jason Ramshaw, Shane Tupai, Darren Fleary, Phil Stevenson, moved into the second row this week from the loose forward position, making way for Martin Wood with a 13 shirt on his back. Darren Appleby and Brendan Hill. The match official this afternoon from Cumbria, from Whitehaven in fact, is Steve Nicholson. We now go to the centre of the park there for the start, and of course both teams started off this season with quite a convincing victory last week. Keighley of course against Whitehaven at Cougar Park, and Rochdale travelling up to Barrow, where they gave the Barrow Braves quite a hiding, 48 points to 22. The man to watch for as far as Rochdale are concerned, certainly the one with the golden boot at the moment, is his centre, Martin Strett. He kicked 8 goals last week. And of course in the forwards, Keith England on loan from Castleford, at least for the beginning of the season. He's on the list at £30,000, and quite frankly I can't see the Rochdale side being able to afford that sort of money. But had a couple of tries last week, and one or two injury problems in the Keighley side seem to have resolved themselves this week. The injury to fullback Andre Stoop, Chris Robinson and Dave Creaser seem to have cleared up. We're all about ready to start. Keighley won the toss. The wind, as usual, although it's quite strong, will be swirling down here on this Spotland field in immaculate condition, as usual. And so then Rochdale prepare to start. Mr. Nicholson blows his whistle and we're underway. Downfield, Darren Fleary, the man on the end of the ball for Keighley, driving it out to his 10, gets through the first half, stopped. And it's Ramshaw moving the bout through the hands of Robinson onto Kenyon at the far side of the field. Breaks the 20-metre line but gets tackled as he does so. Steve Hall taking a run at the defence. One or two of these forwards will be sounding each other out in these early exchanges. And it's Robinson. And one wonders, in fact, Robinson playing with the cycling shorts on, whether the referee might have something to say about that, as indeed is this man Shane Tupai, both blue, and they should actually be the same colour as the shorts. That is a rule. And Robinson certainly doesn't seem to have anything wrong with that leg when he kicked, or the stomach muscles that were causing the problems during the week. Certainly applied boot to the ball, and a good kick back into the Rochdale 20-metre area. Rochdale then having to work their way out. Fullback and coach for Rochdale, Steve Gibson, taking that first drive out. The man with the number 13 on his back, Sean Whitehead, a close season signing from the Saddleworth Premier Division of the Conference League. Certainly a good tactical kicker and not a bad loose forward into boot, but this is Rochdale now launching an attack down this side, but Kenyon well tackling Chris Churm, the Rochdale scrum half. And again, there comes the right boot of Whitehead down the throat of Andre Stoop, a long battle out to the wing there to John Walker. Walker takes the ball in, Stoop looped round the back of him. And certainly a lot of laying on going on early doors, Mr. Nicholson. That's the second time. I think perhaps he could also have penalised Rochdale earlier when Steve Hall was held down on his own 20. And that ball, superb touch find. Obviously the wind is following Keighley down the field, in spite of the fact that we thought it might be swirling, as the Keighley fans move towards that end of the field. Ramshaw waits for the ball to be returned, takes the tap. John Walker, well, thought he was going to take a drive in towards the post, but actually finishes up being driven out towards the touchline side. And it's Ramshaw acting half. Steve Hall knocks on though. Well, I would have said with any other player a spot of early nerves, but Steve Hall shouldn't be having nerves, I wouldn't have thought. So scrum form then on that 10-metre line. Rochdale, predictably as always, when you have the feed, you come away with the ball. They do so, but the first man tackled still on that 20-metre line. This Tony Hilton, the number 11. In fact, I think we may find that 11 and 12 could well have swapped shirts. A good break down the side now then. The wingman's in the open, gets the ball out to the centre, and it's out now onto the wing. Neil Kenyon pushes him into touch, and look who's with him. The length of the field, Steve Hall, the number 8 prop, did the chasing all the way, but my words, that was a dangerous break by Rochdale. The man providing the final pass out to the winger was Wayne Reid. The standoff. So we've gone from one end of the field to the other with a 10-metre scrum, and John Walker taking that ball in. Oh, that's a very, very bad play, the ball. Johnny Walker put the ball on the ground and allowed the Rochdale player to hook it back. Once the ball's on the ground, it's open season, of course. And Rochdale then, from a Keighley opportunity of building, and now Rochdale find themselves in a very much attacking and dangerous situation as far as the Keighley players are concerned. This is England. A couple of metres, that's all, from the Keighley line as David Fell gets the ball on. There's got to be a shade of obstruction there. Well, I'd like to see that one again, because there's no doubt in my mind that David Fell and whoever it was went around and obstructed, certainly took two Keighley players out as he went across. That created the hole, but I suppose the bottom line is the defence takes the man with the ball and doesn't bother about the man who's possibly coming to receive a dummy. Keighley go down to an early 4-point deficit then. But I have seen on many occasions that type of move being given as a blatant obstruction, a deliberate attempt to take players out of the defensive line, which certainly was the case, in my opinion, on that occasion. Martin Strett then sizing the goalposts up as he sets the ball on the pile. A small pile of sand, I hasten to add. Remember, he got 8 last week. We'll see if he can take this 4 points into 6 for Rochdale. Well, it looks good, it is good. Scoreboard clearly showing those 6 points in favour of Hornets. And Robinson with a restart for Keighley. Well taken there by Whitehead. Looks like Maudsley, Whitehead's colleague who joined Rochdale from the Saddleworth club. Certainly as in the amateur game, these two players were very, very dangerous players and were very much the mainstay of the Saddleworth launch towards the championship and the various cup competitions that they took part in and won last season. Not necessarily always the case though when you join the big boys. There's Whitehead though with the boot again. Finds touch. And I think you could see possibly there by the way the ball came into touch and bent that Rochdale are playing into the face of quite a very strong wind. And the touch judge's flag just confirming that for us. Robinson feeds the scrum. Kenyon takes the ball in. Good tackle there by Ratu on Kenyon, and again an attempted rake back by the standoff Wayne Reid. And now this is Dave Creaser, gets the ball out there onto Andre Stoops. Andre Stoops going to score in the corner, yes he does. Good try there, right from the base of that scrum. When Robinson took the ball from the base, it went through Kenyon. Kenyon was tackled 20 metres, 30 metres out from his line. A quick play of the ball, saw it move out to the far side. Dave Creaser opened the defence, Andre Stoops did the finishing. That's a very positive reply as far as Keighley are concerned to that early shock really from Rochdale. Very positive reply in the best possible way. And Dave Creaser, I think, calling for some sand to the bench not responding. And the referee stops the clock, but no sand being supplied to the Keighley bench. They're all looking round as though they're looking for an invisible man, and in fact it's the Rochdale sandboy who's having to bring it on. That's bad organisation on Keighley's part. Certainly there should be somebody there with a sand bucket, even if you have to bring it on the bus themselves. Creaser then steps off the field onto the running track at the far side of the field, but the ball falls over, so he's got to go through the process of resetting it again. But what a magnificent try that was for Keighley. 70 metres in full from the base of the scrum where the movement initially started. And Creaser then tries to level the scores. Oh, and strikes the upright. In fact, almost knocks them down. The entire set of goalposts shaking away there at the far end of the field. But no doubt he's got his sights set now on those posts, and the next attempt should be somewhat nearer. Although you don't get much nearer without going through when you strike the upright. 6 points to 4, Keighley trail with 10 minutes on the clock. Deep kick into Robinson, onto Fleary. Fleary takes the ball up, takes it in. First man there, number 8, Rob Hall. Shoulder charges Fleary. And the wind's certainly gusting about as Kenyon strides through the first defence. Kenyon's away, where's the support? The support wasn't there. And it's Robinson now, onto Ramshaw. He finds Tupai, just touches the hand of Wood, but Andre Stoops there to do the sweeping up. Keighley still in possession. Steve Hall driving in, runs in, tramples his way through those forwards. In fact, it wasn't the forwards, it was for Mickey Stewart that he trampled his way across. And this is Stevenson. The man moved into the second row, looked to offload there, but it's the last tackle coming up. Mr. Nicholson has his arms in the air, or his arm in the air. Robinson pushes it through, but finds perhaps the only Hornets defender on that side of the field. And it's Rochdale now working their way from that defensive area, but well met there by Tupai and Fleary. And Tony Hilton also feeling the weight there of the Keighley forwards as he goes in. Break through the centre by fullback Gibson. Whitehead looks for the offload, nice long pass out, and that's one of the other things that Whitehead's good at, is the spinning pass out. Aye, and he can pass left or right. But Mr. Nicholson's eyes looking to his left there, catches Phil Stevenson encroaching inside that 10-metre area, so it's a tap restart or tap penalty taken. The option for the restart by Rochdale on the halfway line. Chris Churm, the man doing it, but 10 metres inside the Keighley half now. As Hall gets up, plays the ball onto Hooker Churm. Churm's pass away though to England. Not very good. England being tackled as Reid now sets the things in motion. Maudsley gets the ball almost anywhere, but Rochdale still keeping it alive. Fleary missing the tackle completely there. They have the numbers. They've still got the ball going, and the scrum half's in. That again, appalling defence by Keighley. Absolutely appalling defence. First mistake made without a question by Darren Fleary when he completely missed Mike Stewart. The centre went forward again. The tackles were not completed. The ball was kept alive. Chris Churm finishing up in the corner, but a try that should never have been, as far as Keighley are concerned. Good work by Rochdale, poor defence by Keighley. Certainly this Rochdale side are prepared to keep the ball alive, and with people like Maudsley and Whitehead, whose natural game that seems to be anyway, that's precisely what they're going to do, and certainly Keighley are going to have to look out for this. Martin Strat then looking to make it 2 from 2, but one has to say it's by far more difficult than the previous one. It's only about a foot in from the touchline, but my words, that's a super attempt. Only just shading this near side upright. But 14 minutes into the game then, and Rochdale increased their lead, having had it reduced to 2 points. They're back to the 6 points again, 10 points to 4 in their favour. So then Robinson restarts for the second time for Keighley. Whitehead leaves it. The wingman on the far side, Martin Bunce, also leaves it, allows it to go into touch, so we find a scrum will form just about on the 10-metre line. In fact, exactly on the 10-metre line, because the ball went into touch inside that 10. Rochdale scrum half Churm feeds. Play centre field, and Rochdale moving the ball across. The Keighley defence following the man with the ball. Reverse pass there by David Fell out to this side, and a half attempted getaway there by standoff Wayne Reid, but that ball lost. Recovered by Neil Kenyon. So it's an opportunity then for Keighley to build on that Rochdale mistake. Remember that Rochdale scored from a Keighley mistake. Let's see if the reverse can apply here. Stevenson tackled midfield just outside the 20. Hall taking the ball in, driving in, drawing the defence with him. About 15 metres, being held down by the man underneath him, and Robinson runs round there with Ayres, finds Fleary. Robinson found Fleary, I should say, but we're still a good dozen metres from the try line as Ayres now moves the ball out to Wood. Wood puts the chip, well, I think he dropped it. Indeed he did. Looked for all the world as though he was trying to disguise the fact that he dropped it there as he was going for a chip and chase, but Mr. Nicholson's eyes saw what we thought we could see from this distance, that Martin in fact had put that ball down, so the resulting scrum going to Rochdale, and the Rochdale player not particularly wanting to be tackled. Stepping inside again, Maudsley. Ball up, and Whitehead on the run round there. I beg your pardon, that's Maudsley who just offloaded the ball. And certainly running round the back of the defence quite a bit of Rochdale in an attempt to break this Keighley defensive line. Steve Gibson looking for somebody to take the ball from him. Eventually it's Sean Whitehead who gets it back inside. This time it's Tony Hilton over the far side with the headgear on. Gets up, plays the ball inside. Once again, Whitehead. Ball out again wide. They've got the numbers, or they had the numbers here, but Eamon Ratu caught in possession there by Robinson. The forward motion was stopped by Robinson, finished by Kenyon. The last tackle, the ball put deep downfield, the wind taking effect as Andre Stooke takes it on the bounce, gets away from the first, but gets dragged down by the shirt collar on the far side, 10 metres inside his own half. Hall onto Walker. Walker stepping back inside, but not really making any further progress forward. Fortunately, lost the ball, but fortunately the ever-awake Stooke was there to do the vacuuming, and Ayres found Robinson, but the little scrum half gets away from the first tackle but can't get away from the second. Tries to get the penalty but not successful as Martin Wood now. Had Pinkney in support but just that little bit too close for him, Neil Kenyon. Robinson finds Tupaia. And it's Ramshaw acting half-back this time. Robinson puts the ball up for the chase. All on, says the referee. Oh, Gibson made a right breakfast of that. Fortunately, it was knocked back. And in fact, the Rochdale player doing the recovery was almost knocked back over his own try line. As it is, it's Keighley now have got to keep the pressure on these Rochdale players, but they're giving away a silly penalty there. And in fact Rochdale take it quickly, whilst Jason Ramshaw, I think it is, was discussing the merits of the penalty with the referee. So Rochdale then just outside their own 20-metre area. Well, that was a big hit, but it wasn't a very effective one because the ball's still on the move for Rochdale. Coming out to this near stand side. Ratu, though, well wrapped up there. Keighley doing a good watching job on him, that's for sure. And the ball released, and certainly Rochdale getting the rub of the green with some of these passes which are almost going anywhere. And if that's not using the player, I don't know what is. You can put your arms in the air as many times as you like, but if you're in a position where you're preventing a player from getting to to tackle the man, then surely in anybody's book it's obstruction. Whitehead once more then, puts the ball downfield, it's not going to go in touch. Stooke with it, Walker with him, but Stooke going away from Walker, decides to take the tackle. Sean Whitehead certainly launched the left arm there at Stooke, interfering all the time with the ball. Mr. Nicholson quite happy to allow it to go on at the moment. There's still a lot of playing going on there. In fact, Shane Tupai having to leave the field. Brendan Hill, the man to take his place as Robinson goes. Robinson gets the ball back, and what's happened here? Well, in fact, I think he's given Robinson offside. Obviously, the ball went up in the air. Robinson can't believe his eyes, he can't believe his ears, but I tell you what, we believe anything that Mr. Nicholson gives, because there's a sort of referee that he either has a belter or he's an absolutely appalling game, and it looks as though we might be in for one of the latter, because he's not looking at obstruction, he's certainly not observing the 10-metre offside, he's taking no notice of his touch judges on the 5 metres behind the scrum, so all in all, he's being very much Mr. Independent at the moment. Independent in his own views, I should say, and not in that of the rules of the game. position that Ricky Winterbottom's standing in is possibly could be considered by the referee also to be one of causing a bit of an influence on the goal kicker, Martin's set, but I'm sure he's not going to let that influence him. Certainly doesn't. Further 2 points there to Rochdale. They take an increased lead now of 12 points to 4. And remember, they've got the wind in front facing them in this half, and I feel certainly in the second half the boot of Whitehead will certainly come into play when the wind is in their favour. 12 points to 4, Keighley trail. Interested to see where Brendan Hill finishes up in the pack. Possibly move to number 8 and Steve Hall go to open side, but we'll wait and see. But the breaks that these Rochdale people are doing, Keighley's tackling is abysmal, and there's a try here for Rochdale if he doesn't drop it. Well, that was absolutely appalling by Keighley in the middle of the field. They're allowing the scrum half there to run around totally unchallenged. Chris Churm running round behind the man. They're obviously not going to get assistance from the referee in the tactical obstruction that he's using. He's been allowed to do this. Keighley allowing him to do it. There's only one way, in my opinion, that you do that. You knock the players out of the way who are forming the obstructive shield. And if you can't do that, the result at the end is what we have just seen. The play's broken, it's opened out is the defence. It was done so in that case by Churm, and you saw the rest. The wingman went in on the far corner, Martin Bunce, for the third try against Keighley in what is proving to be an extremely leaky defence indeed, almost like a colander. Only 24 minutes of this first half gone, and already a very, very substantial lead building up for Rochdale. I do believe in all seriousness that Keighley are making them look far better than they actually are.
What do you think of the player then, Phil?
Just comes across the face of the post, but certainly the accuracy of this man is pretty good, to say the least. He's getting there or thereabouts every time he kicks the ball. Only the wind in effect taking that ball away from the post. So then Robinson restarts once again for Keighley, but the ball fell over. Okay, this time Rochdale defender there using his knees to console that ball, the Keighley chase up and making sure he doesn't get much beyond that 10-metre line. Whitehead running in, gets to the 20 line before being tackled. One of the rare occasions that he's not been able to offload the ball. And again a missed tackle there by Keighley. I think one of the things that you've got to do to stop players is to take the legs, not try and take the shoulders, because certainly in all the fitness programs these days, upper body strength is paramount with all players. And there's no point in tackling up the top end when they're so strong there. They can't run without the legs. David Fell puts the ball in. Again, it's Andre Stoop has to do the sweeping up. There's 3-4 Rochdale players there doing the chasing, and barely a Keighley man in sight. Brendan Hill now. Certainly the crowd expecting plenty of him. It's his first outing in the senior side this season. Saying that, it's only the second game of the season. Steve Hall then gets to the halfway line within a couple of metres at least. And Robinson out then to Ayres. Not seen too much of him, but there again, we've not seen too much of Keighley in the attack at the moment. Out to Robinson. Robinson puts the ball Wade up the position where Gibson was, just planted it over his head. Not gone dead though, absolute perfect weight on that ball. Gibson having to do the running out from his own dead ball line. And again, the tackle only half made, but at least it was round the legs this time. In the middle of the field then, Keighley defending here as Rochdale try to work out. This seems to be where Rochdale are at the most dangerous, running out of defence in open play. There he goes again, the scrum half, being allowed to do almost what he wants at will. Fortunately, the hand of John Walker getting in the way of that ball, but all it does is give a scrum. It broke down the movement, that's for sure, but it gave the scrum feed and head to Rochdale. The two touch judges still got the flags up. Keighley's defence not making that 5 metre line. Mr Nicholson, as I commented early, not interested. We saw the same from this referee at Swinton last season. He totally ignored his touch judges most of the game. They may well just have stayed at home and had a couple of young lads on the line just to tell him when it went out of play. Five metres inside the Rochdale half then. Whitehead looked to switch back inside. The ball went out to the prop, Rob Hall, who put it down. Robinson did the sweeping up, half break there, stopped, and Ayres finds Wood. Martin Wood gets Pinckney. Pinckney ankle tap there by Eamon Ratu on this wing. And it's into the middle of the park. Stevenson taking it up now for Keighley. Coming to nothing. Certainly Keighley operating with a six-man running pack. And Ramshaw. Oh, runs away from all his support. Leaves it, finishes off with Stoop having to come up. Pinckney gets it out to Kenyon. Kenyon looked to offload to Ramshaw, but that was woeful by Keighley. As Robinson now tries to sort things out. Martin Wood puts the ball into the corner. Is it going to beat them? Well, I think it's a try. It is. It was a super kick there from Martin Wood into the corner, but there's a player injured, got into those steel uprights in the corner of the field. I think it's David Creaser who scored in the corner. Difficult to see, and fortunate, it looks as though it may be okay. Darren Fleary just removed some of the shoulder padding, finding it either too warm with it on or a bit too heavy, I don't know. Looking for the conversion attempt then from the far side of the field. And that try really coming from possibly the most disorganised Keighley attack I've seen for a long time, where Ramshaw ran completely away from his support. Obviously somebody had called a move, and everybody had heard it differently to Jason. As it was amends were made. The ball went into the middle of the field to Robinson. He found Martin Wood, who put a super kick into the corner. All on was called by the referee. The chase was excellent, and the touch was reached by Dave Creaser. Brendan Hill calling for the crowd to get behind the players. And the kick down into this corner. Robinson just readjusts his position, takes it well. Fleary drives them all in, gets clear of the 20 before being tackled up and pace quickly. Martin Wood now from that quick play of the ball. Keith England doing the chasing, pulling him back 10 metres inside the Rochdale half, inside the Keighley half rather. Ayres, ball out to his left to Creaser half through, but the support's not there. The support's out one way, but there's nothing on the inside as Stoop goes now. Andre Stoop very much on. Well, he's going to be penalised there, I feel, but I have to say that whilst he may be penalised for playing the ball to himself, there were certainly 3 Rochdale players that mark him as well. So you pays your money and you takes your choice with that one. Whitehead with the ball on the floor, puts it safely into touch. 16 points to 8 the scoreline. Both Keighley tries unconverted, and certainly 2 of the Rochdale ones, or one of the Rochdale ones converted. They've got 3 tries, 1 conversion and 1 penalty goal. 3 tries to 2 the score plus a penalty at the moment. And again, holding off there. Now what's the referee going to give here? Well, this is going to be a disgraceful decision by Mr. Nicholson. That is absolutely appalling. Clearly knocked on by the Rochdale player. Absolutely, clearly knocked on by the hooker. Maybe a minor adjustment, but it was the first knock-on that should have been played. And I think, as I said earlier, this referee either has good uns or bad uns, and it's definitely one of the latter. Whether indeed we picked that on the picture, because the upright in the stand may just be in the camera's view, but absolutely disgraceful decision really, as Whitehead now looks. He's going to have to be stopped as this fella breaks in the tackle. That's his second rower Maudsley, 10 metres out from the Keighley line. That was knocked on, definitely knocked on. Well, Keighley are getting the rub of the red here, because it's certainly not the rub of the green. They're getting absolutely nothing from this man in black. Says it's the last one coming up. And get off, Jason, otherwise you'll be penalised. Reid goes for the kick and chase throw. It's reversed back. And not onside, all offside there, this side of the referee. And certainly knees flying in there by the man with the head guard on, the number 12, Maudsley. Kenyon doing his utmost to get play away from that ruck area. And again offside. England, the man doing the tackle, the man in an offside position. Brendan Hill now driving in into those Rochdale forwards. 35 minutes of the first half gone. As Robinson looks, sees where the position of the players are, decides that that's the best option over that side. Which side of the corner flag? The wrong side as far as Keighley are concerned. The right side as far as Rochdale are concerned, because it's a tap restart on the 20 for them. Charging run, and certainly these Rochdale forwards, when they do to go into the tackle, they spin and turn and try and offload, although I don't think that was the forward. I think that was Gibson. The ball lost. Well, I think you can hear from the response from the crowd there that they're quite pleased with that decision from the referee. I don't think he dared have given another one that was okay. Robinson feeds a scrum out through the loose forwards' legs onto Ayres. Pinkney. But the Rochdale defence there moved across quickly, man for man marking. Again a strike at the ball. That should be back to 1 because it hit it as Stoop now goes in. Mr. Whitfield says not. Mr. Whitfield, goodness me. Nicholson it is. But this is Robinson. Loses the ball though. I beg your pardon, it was Andy Ayres. Apologies to Chris Robinson there. Rochdale setting up on the far side of the field. Maudsley, the man, getting to within 10 metres of the halfway line before being brought down in field for the big run from the man. The ball lost, went back again, says the referee. I say Rochdale certainly having a lot of the rub of the green. Now there's not a knock on. Very much said with tongue in cheek. Was it a knock on? So then, from a similar position to the previous knock on, Robinson has another chance, but the scrum not formed correctly. The referee said it had collapsed in the centre. Robinson feeds onto Kenyon. Certainly done a lot of work as Neil Kenyon in the Keighley run out of defence in this first half. Ball moved quickly across field there to Creaser on the far side, looking for the inside support from the stand-off, but not got there. There's a Steve Hall now takes play in onto the 10-metre line, looks to offload, gets it away to Ramshaw. Robinson onto Martin Wood. Keighley should have something here. Cleared it going, but well, good tackling there, but Keighley had got the numbers on the defence. Martin Wood jigs about, tries to deceive the defence with his jumping and jigging as Robinson gets up off his knees, gets the ball out. Andy Ayres, but Keighley going backwards. He strides out of that tackle, strides out to the next one. On there to Pinkney. Pinkney's going into the corner. No, everybody stands up, obstructs the view of the camera. Just let you know that Nick Pinkney didn't score. He's there underneath that pile of players. In fact, he's lost the ball, has he? Or was it the handover? Well, I couldn't see for the people standing either, or whether it was lost or whether it was the last tackle. I suspect it must have been the last tackle, as Whitehead gets the ball away. Over to Hilton on the far side, in the centre of the park, I should say. Driven back towards the Rochdale 10-metre line as they get up, play the ball slowly. Sherm gets it out to the far side to Reid. Two half-backs for Rochdale certainly worked well together in this first half. Just to be hoped that it's all been spotted and will be rectified during the half-time break. Pretty hopeful kick there by Whitehead. Kenyon looks, gets the ball, steps inside, but he's gone across the field, back into the danger area. Martin Strett, the Rochdale centre, catching him as Ramshaw now. Draws the defence, finds Stoop, outlet to Pinkney. Pinkney's in. Good handling there by Keighley. Could well have come last time. I don't think it just worked quite as well. The gap wasn't there, but how well Andre Stoop linked in the line there. Jason Ramshaw looking for the man coming. Got it out. I think Martin Wood had a hand in it, not too sure. But certainly the man who finished it off, we know the name, it's Nick Pinkney. Creaser then with another attempt from the touchline side. He certainly had the views of both touchlines with these conversion attempts. And that's going to go to the left-hand side. Well, it certainly brought the scoreline back to a bit more respectable position of 16 points to 12. But one which I feel should have been far less as far as the home side are concerned. Some of it down to bad defence, which is controllable by Keighley. And certainly some of it down to bad refereeing, which is out of everybody's control except the administrators at Chapeltown Road. They've had a long, hard look at some of these referees this time. I think Mr. Nicholson could well consider himself somewhat fortunate, but certainly by the displays we've seen of him in the last two seasons, somewhat fortunate to be on the Grade 1 list. Again, Robinson onto Darren Fleury. Fleury taking it in, looking to try to work his way around, but that's the half-time hooter with a half-time score of 16 points to 12. Keighley's 12 points coming in 3 tries. Andre Stoop, Dave Creaser and Nick Pinkney, and the 4 tries for Rochdale. David Fell, I believe, was the first scorer. We had one from Chris Churm, the scrum half. I beg your pardon, only 3 tries. One from wingman Martin Bunsen, 1 conversion and 1 penalty goal from Martin Strett. Half-time score then, Rochdale Hornets 16, Keighley Cougars 12.
Nobody likes all that.
Well, the Cougar fans have swapped ends for this second half. The top terracing almost deserted. The stand at the bottom end well filled, certainly towards the centre of the post areas, as the Cougars come back onto the field. There's just 4 points of difference at half-time. Those in favour of Rochdale, 2 goals the difference. Both sides having scored 3 tries apiece. Robinson to restart, kicking the different way this time to that which he found himself so early on the game, restarting from the centre spot in the first half. Gets the game underway. Mr. Nicholson decides eventually to blow his whistle, although he gave the signal to start. And fullback Gibson. Well tackled there by Hill and Stevenson. Martin Strett running across the centre of the park there, looking to try to find a way out of defence. As Whitehead gets the ball away. And in fact a penalty being given for a stripping of the ball. And in fact Steve Hall just having a comment to Mr. Nicholson as he went past, perhaps suggesting that he'd been old manned. Obviously not heard by Mr. Nicholson, otherwise we'd have had another 10 metres, I'm sure. Whitehead doesn't make touch. Well put back in basketball fashion there by Neil Kenyon on the far side, and well picked up by Stoop. Taking into it. Oh, and Ayres makes a mistake, but not only makes a mistake, he doesn't regather the ball. And Rochdale have got the ball back in their possession now, and really should have made more of that mistake by Ayres. So 2 mistakes there, one by Rochdale for not finding touch, another by Keighley in the shape of Andy Ayres for not holding the pass. Whitehead gets the ball back inside onto scrum half Churm. 16 points to score at the moment, and again a mistake. Now then, that ball certainly knocked on. And thankfully Mr. Nicholson starting the half with the right decision on the knock-on. Let's hope his cup of tea at half-time had some memory pills in it that reminded him of the rules. As Ayres now gets to within 10 metres almost of the halfway line before being tackled. Robinson at acting half-back. On to Steve Hall. Hall takes the ball back into the central area. Certainly being roughed up in the tackle there by Steve Maudsley. And Stevenson, Phil Stevenson for Keighley. Second man up round the head. Ramshaw switches play to Robinson. Robinson finds Hill. Hill did well there because certainly the number 3 Martin Strett was onto him very, very quickly there as Robinson gets onto Ramshaw. Ayres misses the ball again. And Ayres does well to take that one, but just ankle tapped and found found the flopping tackle there of Gibson. The last tackle up in the air, all on, says the referee, well followed by Neil Kenyon. And again, a good tackle by Neil Kenyon. He's having a good game, is this wingman for Keighley. And the third one on the trot. Now go out, back to your wing and defend, Neil. You've done your bit. Let the forwards do theirs, and they are doing, but still allowed to offload. 3 forwards there. Germ on his way. Oh, and Strett can't take that one, but it's a knock-on. 10 metres, 30 metres out. I'm going to say 10 clear of the 20, which adds up to 30. And certainly good pressure there from the Keighley 3 forwards, but unfortunately not tackling the man, or not tackling the ball as well as the man. It was released. Germ almost got it away as Robinson gets that one from the base of the scrum. Stoop in the line. Creaser steps inside. Tackled 30 metres out. Plays the ball. Stevie Hall takes the pass, secures the ball, drives in. Inside the 20. Good work there by the Keighley captain. Ramshaw inside to Robinson. Finds Ayres. Misses out Wood, but gets it inside to Stoop. But it's back in now to Kenyon. Kenyon having to come back inside. That move certainly seemed to break down as Martin Wood now gives it to Robinson. Something else set up as Brendan Hill drives in. Gets up, plays the ball quickly. All Rochdale offside as Robinson takes it back inside. Lopes the ball out to Wood. Wood gets it away to Stevenson. Give the ball, Philip. A metre short, the last tackle. We could have a push for a scramble over here, but that ball almost gone anywhere. Ramshaw gets it out. And then the numbers are here. David Creaser out to John Walker. Walker in at the corner. Well, that was good handling. I thought for a minute that Keighley had blown it. They didn't. They kept it alive. It came out to this wing side. David Creaser punched the hole. Johnny Walker did the finishing. The scores are level. 4 points, 4 tries to 3. It was Johnny Walker who got it. The crowd get behind. And David Creaser yet again from the touchline side. And in fact, rather a sad sight there in the centre of the field. A Rochdale player obviously injured in the passing movement that came across the field, or the tackling movement. Didn't see what happened, just saw the player down on the floor. Don't know whether the camera caught anything as we came across with the move, but he's certainly well and truly down, is that player, with the stretcher being necessary to remove him from the field, and they're not making too good a job of getting him on there either. In fact, it's Keith England, the player who has gone down, been replaced by Martin Kay. David Creaser then from the touchline side after that delay attempts to convert, and that bit there on the edge of the field, the step down certainly doesn't help in the approach. It just not enough height on it. I feel certain there, in fact, had Dave Creaser been able to get what you might call a decent approach to that ball, he may well have been able to get a bit of extra height on it, but not so. The scores are level. And for once in the game, the Rochdale players making their way very, very warily back to the halfway line, almost heads down, you might say. Appeared not to be in any hurry whatsoever. Certainly there's no need for their heads to be down at this stage in the second half. Fleury using his knees to tap that ball, starts another attack up, gets away from those first tacklers, and I think possibly Rochdale may just miss the tackling of Keith England. That try coming 9 minutes into the second half as Brendan Hill tries to get away from those tacklers, but eventually having to settle for the grass. And in fact, the touch judge on at this side, he's seen something. Brendan Hill just having a word with his opposite forward. Referee deciding to call out the Rochdale player, and I think he's possibly, is he going to call out Brendan Hill? No, not at this moment anyway. Rob Hall, the man penalised for the punch out of sight of the referee, in sight of the touch judge, but that's a bad kick. Gibson on the end of it. Well met there by Phil Stevenson, but really with the wind as it is now, certainly coming over the top of the stands, it would appear, it would seem that the best option for these is to either take a leap out of Whitehead's book and kick off the ground, or alternatively just take the tap. Maudsley then for Rochdale, tackled on the halfway line, gets up, plays the ball out there to Whitehead on the far side. Whitehead throws the ball inside, but the supporting Rochdale player making a mess of that one, and I think perhaps whilst it would have looked good had it come off, the best option for Whitehead to have taken there would, in all honesty, have been to have secured that ball and taken the tackle. Keighley then with the feed. Now the loose forward is broken away from the scrum there. He's back in now. Robinson on to Kenyon. Kenyon coming in field. Looked for the support from the standoff, but he was missing. It's Robinson that had to do the sweeping up there. Whether that was a play or not, I don't know. Certainly it wasn't a play for Robinson to sweep up, but for the standoff not to have been in position to take the ball. David Creasy then on the halfway line. Steve Hall taking the ball back in, trying to set something up on the attack for Keighley. Ramshaw on to Robinson. Fleury comes in with Stevenson on the dummy run. And certainly the play of the ball being very, very lax, and a knock-on spotted there by Jason Ramshaw, by Mr. Nicholson, but it's difficult. These players are in actual fact trying to get up and play the ball quickly, and they're not being allowed to, and really in spite of all his mistakes, Mr. Tennant last week was really keen on that type of thing. When tackled, you're supposed to roll. When you do the tackling, you're supposed to roll away, not lay all over, and that's really what Mr. Nicholson is allowing to happen. I have to say, it's been the same both ways. Churm gets up, plays the ball, gets away from that acting half. Fleury misses a tackle onto Gibson. Fleury makes amends though on Gibson. Actually, Steve Gibson he seems, when tackled, to be possibly the easiest man on the Rochdale side to tackle, because he certainly goes down easily. Reid gets the ball out there to Hilton. Hilton's going. Stoop does the tackling, but manages to get the ball off there to substitute Cates. Moving out the far side to Whitehead. Oh, and with the line wide open, Ratu, I think it is, on the far side, made a complete mess of it. The line was absolutely beckoning for him there. The pass was out long to him. The wind may well have taken it just a little bit out of his reach, but he made an absolute mess of it. Knocked on. Keighley also knocked on, but the scrum goes for the first offence on this occasion, and Keighley get the head feed and subsequently the ball. Walker coming away from acting half-back himself, clearing his 20. Ayres on the dummy run. Stevenson gets the ball, drives in 10 metres from the halfway line. That's good yardage by Keighley in the first three of this set. Hill going in just short of the halfway line, tries to get up, play the ball, does eventually. Well, Ramshaw looking to give Hall the ball. Well, I reckon that's only 4 tackles. Mr. Nicholson said it's 5, but that's a good ball there by Robinson. Pushes the fullback out of the way. There's nothing to say, he can't do that. And that was something there. Robinson caught one there. He's asking the touch judge what the heck he's doing, why he can't keep his eyes open, but certainly Robinson caught one there. No question about it. We saw it, the crowd saw it. And the ball still being kept alive. Whitehead certainly won't hang on to it. And David Creasy doing a good tackle there on Martin Streck of Rochdale. Whitehead going on his own this time. Certainly fell the full weight there as he went on his own. Fell the full weight from Brendan Hill. And the kick coming in now. But Keighley's full-back right in position to take that. Play waved off. And Stoop getting through. Half away anyway. And Robinson. Oof, that was rode up from the chest onto the neck. And it looks as though the referee calling out the captain and the offender. No, he doesn't want to know about the captain. He wants Mr. Gibson to go back, but it's Tony Hilton, the player, just... Well, the way he pulled him out, I thought he was going to give him a right old lecture. As it is, he just said give up and gave a penalty for use of the elbow. Just inside the Rochdale half there, Steve Hall goes to ground. Robinson. Hill on the run round with Robinson's player. He bounces away from that one. Clary trying to get up, play the ball quickly, but Rochdale taking full advantage of this referee's unwillingness to penalise the lane on, as Ramshaw now onto Ayres. Ayres finds Hall. Hall drives it in. Rochdale very slow coming back, still backpedaling, still offside. Ayres goes on the run round there with... Oh, now, nice ball by Ayres. Dave Creasy steps. No! The touch judge says it was in touch. Well, I'd like to see the picture again. It was certainly very close. He knocked the corner flag down anyway. Oh, indeed, I did Ray Tennant an injustice last week. It looks as though we've changed the blood bin sign for green and white. The reason for that is mystifying, because red and white, quite frankly, is blood and bandage. Darren Appleby then coming on momentarily for David Creasy whilst he goes to the blood bin. And that's a good push by Keighley. Martin Wood gets the ball. Martin Wood, oh, and he gives it away in an absolute super position, gives the ball away. There must have been a call. The referee's blown the whistle. He's pulling Andre Stoop out for something there, rubbing of the face, I think. Yes, that's what it is. Oh, but Martin Wood gave the ball away there in a position which, even if it had tried written all over it, or in the next move, should have gone to ground, taken the tackle. It's nice to keep the ball alive, but not when the defence is coming back desperately to cover that gap that's been created by the ball being won against the head at the scrum. As it is, Rochdale live to fight another day. They're in possession some 25 metres outside their own try area. 16 points apiece as Whitehead gets his number 12, Steve Maudsley, into the clear. But Maudslay's tackled by Robinson, and I think Pinkney. Germ now puts the chip over the top. There's no Bobby in position, and the ball's lost. It's gone forward. The ball was lost there, certainly by I think it was Germ, but he saw that Keighley were operating with a full back but without a Bobby. He put a kick into the no man's land area which is created by that gap, and it almost came off. Darren Appleby coming off, and would you believe he's been on a couple of minutes and he's limping. So scrum down some 30 metres out from the Keighley line. Keighley get the ball. Ayers. Eventually up to play the ball. Martin Wood goes round the short side. Actually running away from his support because winger Kenyon was inside as Brendan Hill takes it up now to the halfway line for Keighley. Stevenson, another 10 metres into the 10 dozen metres into the Rochdale half of the field. Gets up, plays the ball. Ramshaw to Robinson. He finds Ayers. Ayers out to Creaser. Inside there to Pinckney. Back to Ayers, but Ayers having to drop on that ball. It's the last tackle. Robinson will put this ball up. That could be a bit too far, but no, it isn't. Gibson has to take it. Takes it on the full. Opts to run over the far side. Well, gets away there from the tackle, but eventually gives it away, and Kenyon on the end of it says thank you very much indeed. We'll start another attack for the Cougars. Wood, terrible pass out there from Martin Wood. Ramshaw absolutely unable to pick it up. Fortunately Robinson could. The ascendancy lost initially, but Brendan Hill now taking the ball in. Offloads to Robinson. Stevenson half through the hole, looking for the supporting play, gets it, but ball lost by Ramshaw, given away to a Rochdale player, again in a position which again could have had a try written all over it. Gibson says he's injured there. Mr. Nicholson being urged by Keighley scrum half to get on with it, get the ball away from him, let him get on with play. And eventually that's what he does, but he certainly doesn't take it a long way away from the player. Out then to Bunce, the wingman asking to do the same work as Keighley's Kenyon's done in the first half and in the second half for them, i.e. driving away from their own 20. And Rochdale coming away there. Jason Ramshaw, having readjusted his headgear, makes the tackle, and Churm gets the ball out. Only for the man on the end of it to be tackled, only 30 metres out. It's the last one. They've made... The referee said the ball went back. Well, if it hit the ground, it's a knock-on, that's for sure, but it's the last one. They're keeping it alive. Ratu puts the ball up the touchline side, finds the arms of Andre Stoop. Stoop comes back down towards the halfway line, evades the first attempted tacklers, makes to within 5 metres or thereabouts of the halfway line before going down. And it's Kenyon bobbing up all over the place. Neil Kenyon for the Cougars in the centre of the park, plays the ball onto Robinson. Robinson out there to Ayers. Ayers possibly standing just a bit too wide of Robinson on that occasion as Ramshaw gets the ball. That ball certainly wasn't for Brendan Hill, it was for Robinson. Brendan not coming forward fast enough on the dummy run. Just into the last quarter of this game, scores still level at 16 apiece. Certainly Keighley won't be happy going home with only 1 point today. They'll be wanting both, that's for sure. Rochdale should be considered on one of the lists of 4 points as far as they're concerned this season. But on the first half performance, that certainly wasn't evident, but the Rochdale players seem to be taking the knocks now, and the steam knocked out of them, but Whitehead and Maudsley still running the heart out in the centre of the field from the second row loose forward position for Rochdale. As Churm now gets the ball onto Reid. Inside to Hilton. Hilton loses the ball. Keighley regather. Gets up off his knees to play it onto Walker from Robinson. Walker's got to go in field. He does. He doesn't get tackled into touch. It's certainly been roughed all over by Gibson, so he can't get up and play the ball quickly. As Ramshaw now over the injured player to Pinckney now. Pinckney's going. Pinckney's going to score. That was a pass that came from Martin Wood.
It was a lovely pass by Martin Wood, the break by Martin Wood initially, Pinckney in support, and Pinckney knows only one way, that's to the line and to bang the ball down behind it. Second try for Nick Pinckney, 5th of the season. Certainly showing his sights, and one wonders, he's an under-21 international already. One wonders if the Keighley coach Phil Larder lands the job of the Great Britain coach, as so widely predicted in the newspapers this week in succession to Mal Reilly. One wonders whether Phil Larder will look very closely at this man for a position in his Great Britain full international squad. Certainly a good finisher, certainly a good pacey centre, and certainly one who knows where the try line is. Keighley into the lead then for the first time in this game with that Pinckney try, and giving David Creaser possibly his best opportunity of adding a conversion. He does. 22 points to 16 then. Well, Keighley have worked hard for that lead in this second half against the elements. 26 minutes rather it is into the second half. Some 14 left to go plus stoppage time, of course, but Keighley won't be content, I feel sure, to rest on that 6-point lead. They'll now be wanting to build on it, and this is where the building starts, at the foundation on the try line. Martin Wood. Somebody suggested to me during the close season that the little jig there that Martin does has been taught to him by Joe Grimmer as the lead up to the haka dance from the Maoris. Whether that's right or not, I don't know, but it's occasionally very effective. But how effective this man is at full-back for Keighley. He spells magic, and Pinckney's on his way again. He's inside. Oh, and he gets the ball inside there to Neil Kenyon. But this is exciting stuff now from Keighley. They're suddenly ticked into gear. They're setting the crowd alight. Martin Wood puts the ball in for the chase. Creaser's there. John Walker's there. Gets the ball out. It's onside. It's all right. Phil Stevenson's in. There were a belter of a kick from Martin Wood. What a tactical kick by the Keighley loose forward. David Creaser went on. He couldn't get there. Johnny Walker did. He was taken round the shoulders, he got the ball, well he lost the ball. The referee, as he said so many times this afternoon, the ball went back, Phil Stevenson picked it up, and the try was on the board. Suddenly with 10 points in the space of 4 minutes for Keighley, in fact in the space of 3 minutes for Keighley, and we're being treated to some magic now. The early first half lapses in defence being more than made amends for by the attacking flair that Keighley have got. And I think really you've got to look at that man wearing the number 1 on his back. He's the guy who set that up. His break from his own 20 to the halfway line set that thing going. It was the Martin Wood kick that caught the eye, but it was the basic work. Initial run out by Darren Fleary and the take up by Andre Stoop where the foundation of the try was made. Dave Creaser then with another attempt, it's through, and suddenly Keighley get that lead from 6 to 12. 28 minutes gone. Martin Strett then restarting. Chris Robinson, Darren Fleary. This time not making the customary 20 metres, but the work going on as Martin Wood clears a 20-metre line. Ramshaw going on his own from acting half-back. Thought he spotted a half gap round that acting half-back area, but the Rochdale defence quick to cover. Steve Hall driving towards a halfway line. I think he just knocked on there, unable to take that pass. Had he taken it, I feel sure he was there again. Scrum form then on the halfway line. Rochdale to feed this scrum, but certainly those two tries in just over as many minutes will have knocked a lot of the stuffing out of this Rochdale side. But the game's not over till the fat lady sings, as the saying goes. Serge Lausier there, the Frenchman, just come on the field. I don't know who is replaced for Rochdale. I missed that, but this is Sean Whitehead with 13 on his back, being tackled there by a combination of Stevenson and Ramshaw, just inside the Keighley half of the field. Reid misses out Mosley, but gets the ball onto Fell. Churm turning away from the tackle, but Keighley doing well, containing Rochdale on that halfway line area. The last tackle comes up. The left boot this time of Whitehead. The safest houses arms of Andre Stoop, and Keighley have got the numbers, but Stoop goes inside. Well, they didn't really have the numbers. Stoop went inside looking for the extras, and Rochdale fortunate not to get away with giving a penalty away there, because Stoop's foot definitely picked off the ground as he tried to get up. But this is the other man, Pinckney. Pinckney's going away on the far side of the field, gets up after being tackled. Tackle not completed. Now what's the referee given? Well, nay, the dearie me, that tackle never completed. Pinckney got up in one movement. In fact, he's even demonstrating to the referee what he's done. You've got to be careful, Nick, because the referee last week gave you 10 minutes for that sort of thing after you refused a try. But he was never ever completed in the tackle. The man released him almost as quickly as he got to him. There's no way he was held, and Mr. Nicholson certainly running rather a loose rule over that one. As it is, it's Rochdale in the Keighley half of the field between the 30 and 40 line. Mosley comes on the dummy run. Hilton takes it and goes to the ground. Out then to Reid. The standoff somewhat considerably quieter in this half, as is the scrum half of Rochdale. Their antics in the first half certainly being nullified in this second half by the Keighley defence. Whitehead now. Well, he looked to offload to his side. It took a Keighley arm on the way through, I think. Yes, it did. The referee wipes the slate clean as Kay gets the ball out. On to Fell. And Fell falls to Hill. Right on the Keighley 20. Slow to his feet as Kay gets the ball out now to Whitehead. Loose ball around the back to Churm, and Churm's doing his sidewinder, running across the field again, but caught there by Martin Wood. And Gibson now coming into the attack from the full-back position. Need to tackle him. I said he was hard to tackle, but he isn't. And in fact, that knock-on given there by referee Nicholson, I think the Rochdale scrum half looks as though it was a scrum half, thought he'd got a gift try, but the referee's whistle having already gone for the knock-on. And we have another Rochdale player down on the 20-metre line. Plus a Keighley player, it looks like Darren Flair. Oh, dearie me, the stretcher on again for Rochdale. Certainly in great demand this afternoon. We'll wait to see who it is. By the look of the board, it could be the hooker David Fell rather. And I do believe Rochdale are without substitute. So the clock restarted again by Mr. Nicholson as we wait for the scrum to form. Now then, they're a player short of Rochdale, and they're still opting to Andy Ayres coming off the field, Appleby going on to replace. And that ball out to Robinson. Appleby taking up the centre position. Creaser in all probability going to stand off. Martin Wood on the far side of the field. Neil Kenyon having to pick up rather a scrappy pass there when Keighley just seemed to be going each other's way. Pinckney, I think it's Pinckney, Nick Pinckney there, just coming away from that melee of players. This is Steve Hall, no doubt in that fella. And this is Robinson, on to Hill. Hill barges through the first tackle, looked to offload, he couldn't get it to Apple because he was in front of him. Brendan Hill gets up, plays the ball, took a knock on the ankle there. David Creaser with the headgear on from presumably the injury from the cut that he received his time in the blood bin. Steve Hall tackled 10 yards inside the Rochdale half. The last tackle as Robinson puts the chip over the top. Finds touch, 15 metres rather from the Rochdale line. Scrum forming then 15 metres from the line. The two touch judges setting up the 5 metre mark, some a good 10 metres behind the scrum. Perhaps that's another new rule as well. 36 minutes then on the running clock. One or two stoppages in this half which may or may not have been taken account for. Certainly the last one was. Oh, and Maudsley, I don't think there was anything high there. Well, the referee said it was a stiff arm. Didn't look to be anything wrong with it, certainly from our viewpoint up here. But one must, of course, view both sides as we try to. But there again, I certainly didn't see anything wrong with it. Nor did I see anything wrong with that tackle there by Brendan Hill on Serge Logier. Chip over the top there, looks to see if the bobby was present. This time it was in the shape of Robinson, and that's Andre Stoop who picked the ball up. Robinson, bobby in the intermediate area well there. Walker coming in field, but driven backwards as he goes by Kay and Maudsley. Wants to get up and play the ball quickly as Ramshaw now gets the ball onto Stevenson. Stevenson just eyed up to Tony Hilton as he went into that tackle. And it's Darren Fleary for Keighley. Martin Wood, that play the ball very quick. The ball coming across quick. Appleby gets the ball out to Stoop, but Walker just put his foot on the touchline here. Absolutely correct. The foot went on the whitewash, no question about it at all. And John Walker just receives a consolation pat on the back of the head from his scrum half Robinson. Nick Pinckney leaving the game. Andy Ayres coming back on for him. The referee's attention being drawn to the substitution. Ayres coming back on, just shuffling the three-quarter line across. There's an absolute mess of a scrum there. Churning, it's 5 metres in from touch. It wasn't on the 10, but it's eating up those valuable seconds at the end of the game. Keighley, remember, 12 points in the lead, and Robinson doing a great job there on churn. And how on earth did that man Brendan Hill get out of the scrum there to assist Robinson? But he did, and he's doing the chasing here. Oh, and very dangerous over the line there. Brendan Hill casts a quick look there. A quick look there at Standoff Reid, who was tackled as he parted the ball with the ball by Brendan Hill. Brendan just had a quick look at him there, quite worried look really. But my words, there's no way that you get up after a tackle like that. I think the brave thing for Reid to have done would have been to have kicked the ball dead. Or the right thing, the brave thing was what he did, and seems to have paid the price for it. But in the centre of the park now, approaching the halfway line. Rochdale still trying to keep this ball alive. Kay gets it into Gibson. Gibson out to the far side. Well, they got numbers. This is Logier, the Frenchman for Rochdale. 10 metres into the Keighley half of the field. Reid's back up on his feet again as Churm goes through the centre of the field. Runs at the referee. He's got support. Oh, and a crunching try-saving tackle there by Stoop. And Kenyon picks the ball up as Churm lost it in the tackle. Appleby now running down the far side. Appleby gone into the right centre position. We've only got about a minute left on the running clock now, as in fact we've got on the running clock, yes, just about a minute left to full time. There are some stoppages to add as Stevenson almost makes the halfway whitewash, and one has to say against some very, very poor tackling there by Rochdale, and the ball being lost in possession by Stevenson on the halfway line. Stevie Hall suggesting in fact that it was stripped out not by the hand but by the foot of the Rochdale player as he was getting up off the ground. Again, a big push by Keighley. Churm gets the ball, Robinson gets round to him. Martin Strett tackled there by Andy Ayres. And Andy Ayres again tackling the jersey and not the body, allowing Reid to get the ball away, but Kay only getting as far as the arms of Fleary as fullback player coach Steve Gibson tackled some 10 metres or thereabouts inside the Keighley half of the field. A minute of a stoppage time played already. In the centre of the park, Churm gets the ball out there to Serge. And a knock-on observed there by the referee. I beg your pardon, it was Mickey Stewart. And the victory clearly, the 2 points clearly in the Keighley camp now after a very, very nervous start in the first half. Some very, very shaky and suspect defence offered by the Keighley play in the first half, allowing Rochdale in for certainly one simple try. But Keighley have really stuck to the task. In the second half they've brought the game alight as Stoop now gets the ball out to Kenyon on the far side of the field. Kenyon hurled to the ground on the halfway line. Steve Hall played a captain's, almost said innings in this second half, a captain's game. Oh, and that man's got to be offside. He certainly attempted to tackle him, he certainly hindered him, but Mr. Nicholson has ever been very, very patient. And Brendan Hill on the charge into the 20, gives the ball away again. But in the Keighley camp, the first half tries coming there for Andre Stoop, for Nick Pinkney and for David Creaser. That was the Keighley's 12 in the first half. The second half, the contributions coming again from Nick Pinkney, from John Walker and from Phil Stevenson to David. Oh dear me, oh dearie me, that man has got to walk, absolutely. That was the most violent head-high tackle I've seen in a long time. And I wouldn't mind betting we missed it with the camera because the thing is right, the upright right in the way. But the most violent head-high tackle by Steve Maudsley that I've ever witnessed. No need for it, the game well and truly lost, well into stoppage time, and that man deserves to be missing the next half dozen games at least. And Keighley being called just to eat up the minutes. They can eat up the minutes on the clock. once the referee restarts it, because they don't wish to face violence of that nature. They've answered the Rochdale's first half performance with class football in this second half, and that was plain thuggery. Chris puts the Keighley's tally to 30, his own tally as far as points are concerned to 10, 30 points to 16, an emphatic victory now for Keighley. Somebody below me saying that you've been well and truly cougared, and I have to agree with that, certainly on the second half performance, which was really vintage stuff. Martin straight into the arms of Chris Robinson. Martin Wood tackle just inside his own 20-metre line, and Steve Hall driving the ball clear. There goes the final hooter then. It's a good victory for Keighley. Tremendous victory for Keighley, well appreciated by a massive following that's come over. A massive following come over from Keighley. See them there in the scratching shed. They're applauding the players. The players in turn are applauding the support that's come all this way. Tremendous victory, 30 points to 12. The Cougars are on the way again. There we are, the players appreciating the great applause and support of the following here at Scotland for them today. Final score then here. Rochdale Hornets 16 rather, beg your pardon. Rochdale Hornets 16, Keighley Cougars 30.